Yo, what's up guys? Today I want to quickly go through every building technique that I've been inventing in the past, which is now either implemented as an actual base building structure or has been removed by the devs. Don't get me wrong, when it comes to the implementation of base elements, I'm not that arrogant that I think that they implemented it because they've seen it in my videos or what I've been creating, but in fact I think that this shows just how much I was right about what was needed in the game. When it comes to the patched stuff, I honestly am just a bit annoyed that they did it and therefore limiting us for the creative usage of their structures or the structures that are given to us. And then just to give you an impression, this is a list of most of my SCUM videos. Everything that's blue is not building video or building related. Everything that's marked red is a patched or contains a patched building method. Everything that's green is basically a implemented method. And as you see, there's not much left, which is either removed or implemented in the game now. Starting with the windows, obviously they implemented new windows, which is pretty cool, because the old windows were just too big. Even though these new windows are still too high in my opinion, because if you try to shoot something in front of you or in your garden, you can't do that because the frame is too high. So one thing I did in my old videos, I was building these type of windows where you had a smaller hole to look through for you to be more protected, and with those bigger things. This is with the new window already, but we were building it with double door frames to create a smaller gap, and another building method we will come to later. Then the next thing is, and you see they're pretty similar, right? Implemented that you can use those frames which are available earlier already into the new windows now, which is definitely good, I think. It's also pretty high, but definitely basically what we did before. I mean, you see it, it's pretty similar. That's what we wanted to do, and they're pretty good. The next thing are ladders. I used to use those towers to stick them into my base. Now you can't do that anymore because they collide with each other, but you were able to stick them into your base and build a ladder inside your base. Now you have the actual ladders. It's sad because those towers themselves they were pretty cool to implement into your base, because you could have doors over there, basically over here, and then if the tower was stick into your base, you were able to go into those towers and use them as shooting points. Now you can't do that anymore. It's sad, but those new ladders are definitely okay. If you're wondering, you can still do the trick which I use in one of my videos. You glitch through this gap over here and you can use that to trap enemies if they try to get up, and you just shoot them. So the next thing are those basically peaks that you can use to shoot downstairs. Previously we were using a trick with 2 triangle ceilings, which for some reason I can't even place anymore over here, as you see. But you were placing one over here. Oh, over here I can place. Okay, weird. And then we were placing one over here, and you see it was creating little gaps on the sides over there, which was basically pretty good to shoot down into your garden or your garage area or in a level below. Now we have these ones, even though I think they're pretty big. Right, the hole is pretty big, maybe a bit too big. I would much more prefer if the middle would be close to, and you only have little peak holes on the left and the right, but it is what it is, and it's still better than having nothing, right? So getting to those frames, I use those, and you see that if we were combining a double door frame with that, it creates a pretty nice hole in the middle, and then combined with those doors, it was creating the sniping holes that I was using. And then also those were used for the later updated version of the sniping holes, which were creating a very small window at the top of the frame. So besides that, this was also a very nice idea, which is sadly patched as well, because you can't stick a roof into a double door frame anymore if you build them at the same time. It was used to basically climb on the roof and use those little gaps over here while being protected from the side and the top, or walk up here and then shoot down there. Sadly, it doesn't work anymore because you can't do it anymore. Another thing which we were building, or which a lot of people were building, is basically fences. And I mentioned fences in one of my videos, even if I didn't meant exactly those things. But fences are a pretty good thing because you can be in your base, you can shoot outside. We were using them for the entrances to spot enemies if they were outside and then shoot them before they even get into our base. Another pretty sad thing is that you can't, and I don't know why they did it, you can't build ceilings to a half wall anymore. Which makes me question what's the purpose of a half wall, because it's even higher than the windows. You can't shoot over them. They're too high. And then even in your single player, you can activate it. You can snap to them. So they just active or deactivated it for official service, which is, I don't know, doesn't make sense to me. It's pretty sad because it's limiting a lot of things. For example, you can't build my crouch entrance anymore, where people were crouching through a little tunnel and you were able to shoot them. And it doesn't give you the opportunity to make a half layer in your base for different purposes. It just cuts all of that out, limiting our creativity. And it also almost limited my trap over here. So basically what you have is the new leather. You were going up, and then if you see to the right, I have a window frame over here, which we can use as a defender to shoot the enemy who's trying to get into our base. How it works is we had half a wall, then a window frame on top, and then a ceiling to the back of it where you were able to stand on. Now you need to use those wardrobes, but it still works like that, so it hasn't been completely patched. Also, before I forget it, they also patched my killing floor method, where you were able to shoot from a lower foundation through a higher foundation. After tier 3 of the foundations, you now have a block instead of what we had before foundation with those pillars on the sides. Sadly, you can't change that. There's like no option to choose either of the two things. So that's patched as well. You can't do that anymore. Another thing that has been patched though is layout walls. So before you were able to just snap a wall to the wall and make another layer behind it. It still looks like it's possible, but if you're actually trying to do it, and you see it over here, if I get to the 4 meters, this doesn't work anymore for some reason. Even if I go all the way over here, probably has to do with the hitbox of that thing. I mean, I get it, they probably tried to nerf Troy walls, but I mean, you can just go a few centimeters back and build a second layer over here. It's just not as clean anymore. Another thing that pretty much pisses me off is that they completely deleted one-way doors. Previously, this door would have pushed you out. Now, as you see, you just glitch through it. I used them for exit points for your base where enemies can't enter, which was pretty nice to funnel them through your defenses, and this is not possible anymore. Now you just need to build stupid dropouts where you drop out of your base. And the last thing they have patched is my lockpicker trap over here. So previously the stone walls and the wooden walls had different hitboxes, and you were able to walk on top of them, which still is possible to build if you use 2 walls. But the problem with the whole thing is that they even patched the door pushing you off, and you will see it in a second. Now you just glitch on top of it like that. Previously it was just pushing you down into a hole, and then I had a wall over here basically making a hole where you fall into and you can't escape anymore, which was pretty nice to trap lockpickers, but they removed that. So besides that, I think there's not even everything, but they are limiting our building styles pretty much, and then implementing a new few features, but it's still, I don't know. I like creativity, and they just delete all that creativity, but it is what it is. In the next one.